When we see so many large law firms capitulating to Donald Trump, it is incredible when we see law firms exercise courage and lead the way. One such firm is the firm Keker, Van Nest, and Peters. It's one of the most renowned firms in the United States, and they put out a powerful statement standing up to Trump and all of his executive orders, trying to attack law firms and trample over our Constitution. Here's the statement. Trump's new executive order underscores how far removed this president, attorney general, and administration are from our nation's Constitution and bedrock values. Our liberties depend on lawyers' willingness to represent unpopular people and causes, including in matters adverse to the federal government. An attack on lawyers who perform this work is inexcusable and despicable. Our profession owes every client zealous legal representation without fear of retribution, regardless of their political affiliation or ability to pay. We encourage law firm leaders to sign on to an amicus effort in support of Perkin Coie's challenge to the administration's executive order targeting the firm and to resist the administration's erosion of the rule of law. That was not mincing words right there. And so what we've been covering here at the MeidasTouch Network is Donald Trump's been putting out these executive orders one by one, attacking law firms in order to erode the rule of law, starting off with the suspension of security clearances and evaluation of government contracts, where he attacked the law firm of Covington and Burling. Then he attacked the law firm of Perkins Coie LLP. They filed a lawsuit immediately. They're standing up. The next one was addressing the risks from Paul Weiss. Then Paul Weiss entered into this horrific settlement deal with Donald Trump, where Trump basically humiliated them and said that they were agreeing to do $40 million in pro bono legal service for him, and they attacked one of their own partners, and then there was big backlash to that, and then Trump did an order addressing remedial action by Paul Weiss. A lot of Paul Weiss alum were like, what the hell are you even doing right there? And then Trump did this omnibus one, preventing abuses of the legal system and federal court, basically attacking all lawyers. Trump was recently asked about his attack on law firms. Here's what he said. Let's play it.
Up the lands, et cetera, it's being negotiated as we speak.
What do you say to critics who say that your actions towards law firms amount to coercion?
Well, the law firms all want to make deals. You mean the law firms that we're going after, that went after me for 4 years, ruthlessly, violently, illegally? You mean, are those the law firms you're talking about? They're not babies. They're very sophisticated people. Those law firms did bad things. They went after me for years. Russia hoax. All a hoax. It was a hoax. It was Hunter Biden's laptop. It didn't come out of Russia, by the way. It was came out of his bedroom. It was all a hoax developed by Democrats. Hillary, I don't think Biden did, because I don't think Biden knows what the hell he's doing, frankly, based on everything I see. I've seen things since being here that are so sad, what he's done to this country.
I want to bring in the partners of Keker, Van Nest, and Peters, John Keker and Elliot Peters, who put out that statement that I read at the outset. First to you, John Keker. I guess I should say this, and I don't want to, I can't say enough positive things about you guys, about your background, about the work the firm does, and how big of a deal it is that your firm is out there with a statement and the courage that it shows, but we don't even have enough time for me to go into all of your backgrounds. But John, you heard what Donald Trump said. All these law firms just want to make deals and all these things. Look, you've litigated against Trump in 2017. You won big victories back then. You're not scared of him now. Why'd you put out that statement?
Well, we put out the statement was based on an executive order that he wrote Friday night. And Saturday morning when I woke up, Elliot Peters had already drafted a response. We edited it a little bit and got it out because we were appalled at the idea that the president has instructed the attorney general to come after lawyers that try to represent people in pro bono situations, in asylum situations, in situations where people need lawyers against the government. And the idea, somebody would think that that was a bad idea or bad for democracy or bad for the United States, was just appalling. So we wanted to say something. And we also were aware that some big firms were having kind of trouble getting their pins underneath them so that they could stand up. And we were hoping that by begging other firms to do the same thing and to stand up, we could get a critical mass of lawyers, which I still think we need, to do the right thing and stand up against Trump's attack on lawyers.
Elliot, you didn't hesitate. As John said, a lot of lawyers and law firms are worried we're going to lose clients and, all of these things. Was that a concern, or why didn't you hesitate?
Lawyers need to stop being timid and not knuckle under. Lawyers need to stand together for the most basic principles of what we stand for as lawyers. I don't think clients want lawyers that surrender. Clients want lawyers that are tough and fight for what's right. And so I'm not worried about losing clients. If we do lose some clients, I'm not sure that they're clients that we want. We've gotten overwhelming support from other lawyers. We've gotten overwhelming support from our clients who say they're proud of us. We've gotten tremendous support from the younger lawyers at our firm who find our willingness to stand up for what really are just basic principles of being a lawyer. They find it heartening to work at such a place. And I'm just amazed, really, that our statement, which seems so basic to us, is viewed as unusual or really so courageous, because we're just, in essence, stating what all lawyers in America took an oath to do when they became members of the bar of their state, which is represent clients zealously, vigorously, and stand to uphold the law.
John, what's your message to some of these big firms out there right now that are wavering, that are scared? It shocks me too that it's like, what are you doing? But what's your message to them right now?
My message is, if you're good, you're going to be okay. Don't let a bully push you around and make you humiliate yourself in order to either please him or make the clients comfortable. If a client doesn't want to have a lawyer who's got some guts and some principles, then let the client go someplace else and you'll hope to be against him in litigation. But my message is, stand up and don't let this happen, and don't be just scared about you. Be scared about the entire situation, the entire rule of law, the entire role of lawyers in this democracy.
Elliot, what's your message out there to anybody who's watching this? Big law firms. We have a lot of big law firms that watch this. What do you want them to do?
Stand up and join us. Stand up for the principles of who we are and what we do as a profession. And reflecting on that quote from Donald Trump that we just saw, that little clip you played, this is just a personal thing that he has. You went after me. I was investigated. I mean, sadly, Trump was investigated because he committed crimes. He was indicted by grand juries in 3 different jurisdictions. He was convicted by a jury beyond a reasonable doubt in one of them. Yet he had lawyers representing him. I would never criticize Todd Blanche or Emil Beauvais, now running the Justice Department, which is a little frightening, but I wouldn't criticize them for representing Donald Trump. They had a client, they stood up for him. In my view, he broke the law. He was lucky to get away with it. Now he's the president, but he shouldn't be taking out his peak on the legal profession.
John, a lot of Americans are scared right now at the erosion of the rule of law. So statements like yours do give them hope. Every day we hear Trump doing something else that breaks a norm. He went to the Department of Justice and praised the January 6th insurrectionists and attacked the FBI in the hollow halls of the DOJ. So as we conclude this interview, John and Elliot, John, what do you just say, though? I think it's helpful for the American people to see law firms like yours stepping up and fighting and not scared. But what do you say to the American people watching this?
I say the thing you should be scared about is becoming the subject of an authoritarian leader who has already shown himself willing to incite violence. I think that's what Jack Smith was investigating. I think January 6th was no question, it was incitement of violence. Now he has pardoned all of those people. And I'm afraid that he is inciting violence again, and that he wants to incite violence so that he can have excuses to even become more powerful. That's what people should be afraid of, not losing a client or whatever. Good lawyers will always find clients. Good lawyers are needed in this society, but cowardly lawyers are not.
Elliot.
Yeah, lawyers just need to stand together and to stand up. They don't have anything to be afraid of other than what John said, which is knuckling under to an authoritarian who wants to push around the press, wants to intimidate judges, as he's trying to do to Judge Boasberg in D.C., who's doing his job in trying to determine whether what the government did there with sending people to El Salvador was lawful or not. That's what judges do. There aren't lawyers out there at these big firms who would say to you, oh, yeah, I agree with what President Trump has done with these executive orders. That's not the reason for not joining in our opposition to it. It's simply fear. And while that fear is understandable, they need to get over it, link arms with each other, and stand up for our basic freedoms.
Yeah, look, it's a really big deal in the legal community to have you put out that statement. It's an honor here to have you on and be able to, amplify the statement and hear from you both from the Keker, Van Nest, and Peters firm. John Keker, Elliot Peters, thanks for what you do. And I think it'll be good to have our audience know that there are people who are fighting back against him and who aren't mincing words.
Thank you.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.